Hey guys, what's up? Carter here. So this is a video on Prometheus. Now I just shot a 20-minute long video about me kind of going off on things I didn't like about the movie, and I decided that one, it was pretty incoherent, I was all over the place. Two, I don't think anybody wants to see that, so I actually deleted it. I was going to do a shorter version here and then ask if you guys wanted to see that super long ranting crazy video, but I didn't have room on my camera for both, so I just deleted it. So first off, there's going to be some spoilers in this video, so if you haven't seen it and you want to see it, don't watch this. Second of all, my personality type, I get really excited and kind of overly concerned with movies. You know, so I know a lot of people are just like, oh, it's a movie, who cares if it made sense or had plot holes and stuff like that. You know, it's just whatever. So people like that, I'm going to rub you the wrong way, absolutely, because I don't know what it is. Something's wrong with me or something. I don't know. I just can't do that. I can't just be like, ah, whatever, it was for shits and giggles. It was kind of cool, whatever. I tend to get overly wrapped up in the details on movies, and when there's plot holes and things that just don't make sense and seem like they were forced, it just really rubs me the wrong way, and that's primarily why I didn't like this movie. Love the overall concept. We'll get the good stuff out of the way. Love the concept. Love the atmosphere. I love the visuals. I love the sound. The actors were pretty good, although they did fall into the current trend of being completely unbelievable. They're supposed to be scientists, but they look like they walked off of an Abercrombie billboard, obviously hitting the gym at least 6 days a week, and yet they're these scientists. You know, like I said, that's a trend in movies now, and it's unfortunate. The original Aliens movie, you firmly believed that they were regular people on like a cargo vessel or whatever they were doing. You know, they were overweight, they were ugly, but they were great actors at the same time. It's a shame that modern movies now, you know, get rid of that, and it turns into this weird fantasy thing where everybody's ripped and in shape and tanned and just unbelievable. Especially the male lead that's with the female lead. I don't have their names. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, this dude is like beautiful, you know, just perfect in shape, perfect everything, and he's supposed to be this scientist who's like, you know, sacrificed his life for this mission on this research, and you're like, bullshit. But anyways, okay, aside from that, so a lot of stuff I did like about it, and I liked that the movie was made. You know, overall it was a very smart science fiction movie. Definitely it is more of a science. I'll just flip through some of this stuff here. So some alien comic books that I had years ago, even though this movie really doesn't have anything to do with Alien, but you know, it's the closest thing I got to visuals. But you know, and it really is, it's a pretty smart science fiction movie, and it's definitely a pure science fiction movie, and so I'm glad it was made, I'm glad it's out there, but that doesn't mean I have to, you know, 100% like it. So keeping it kind of brief, and if people can kind of chime in on some of their thoughts on why maybe these things exist in the movie, or if it, you know, aren't plot holes and I just didn't get it, let me know. First off, the basic gist of the movie is that we are created from these super beings. They're superhuman aliens, basically. They created us. For some reason now they want to kill us. So there's a ship on this planet. Doesn't fully explain why exactly it's there. Originally they thought it was a compound, and so they thought that they were developing this biological warfare to kill us. Then it turns out to be a ship. Then it turns out there's multiple ships, so I don't know what's exactly going on there, but they've developed this black liquid. And the black liquid is my number one problem with the movie. My second problem with the movie is the forced tie-in to Alien. And I'll get into that in a sec. But this black liquid, the movie starts off very powerful scene. One of the super aliens, really weird looking but really cool looking, is on this planet. There's this disc ship in the background kind of hovering over, which by the way you never see again, never is explained, no idea what that is. Alien opens up the small container. There's some sort of substance in there that kind of coagulates and turns into liquid. He drinks it, assuming it's a he, maybe it's a she. Drinks it, and basically it kills him. His DNA rots away, and you know, it turns into goop and falls off this cliff. Never explains what the point of that is. You assume that it's going to come back and give some explanation. My only thought is that it has to do with trying to show how this black liquid kills human DNA. But it seemed kind of like a waste, you know, raised more questions than it provided in the movie. But that black liquid can do a lot of stuff. It can turn mealworms, you know, like the mealworms that you buy at Walmart for fishing, or that you buy to feed your pet lizard. You know, mealworms, they use them in movies as substitute for maggots. I guess people think they're less gross or whatever. Mealworms, like that we find on Earth here, apparently is in this ship on this alien planet somehow. Regular mealworms, superworms. And when this black liquid touches them, they turn into these big snake creatures. Now, the snake creature can crawl into humans' mouths and kill them, and it just kills them. But if you cut the snake creature, it sprays acid, kind of like an alien. But apparently that turns you into a zombie, a super zombie. So you're like a zombie, but you have superhuman strength. Okay? It can also, though, if you get infected with this stuff, it looks like it takes about 24 hours till you turn into a super zombie, and then you have sex with another human, your sperm turns into a super alien squid sperm. And not only does it impregnate the person you have sex with, if that person can't have children, it can magically make that person be able to carry this this sperm squid creature. Now, then if you can get to a high-tech machine that does surgeries, even though it's not set up to do C-sections, you can trick it into doing a C-section if you're a girl. You can climb in there without any anesthesia and it just turns on. I mean, I guess a kid could go in there and get a lobotomy just like that. There's no sort of procedures involved in this machine. But apparently you can trick it into doing that, and it'll cut you open, even if you're not under anesthesia or anything like that, fully awake, moving. It'll cut you open, just, 2 seconds. It just comes in with some forceps, pulls it out, and then it stitches you up. And, aside from a little pain, you're fine. You can run around after that and do what you need to do. And then this squid sperm creature, after it looks like 3 or 4 hours, actually turns into a giant squid creature with, multiple tentacles and big teeth. It turns into that for some reason. And the reason why this girl was impregnated with this, it kind of alludes that it's some sort of plot or some sort of secret thing that the android's doing, but it never turns into anything, and you're never quite sure. The android that infected purposely her boyfriend or whatever, kind of alludes that he did it for a reason, although there's none apparent. And then it kind of alludes that he knew they would have sex and she would be impregnated with the squid thing, and he wants to cryo her and bring her back. But that never turns into anything. Never really says if that was the case or not. And then the android ends up being like a good guy at the end somehow, even though he purposely infected a member for shits and giggles. But anyways, so then if that giant squid creature sticks his thing down the throat of the super alien human, it can lay eggs, and then like 2 hours, a fully developed alien comes out that's just a little different than the alien we know, somehow. And so yeah, that's my primary problem, is this black goop doesn't follow any sort of rhyme or reason. It first introduces it kind of in an altar-like setting. Like they go into this room and there's this human face on the wall sculpted, and there's these canisters kind of set up, and they talk about it looking like an altar. Then later the story paints it as this is meant to destroy the human race. It's like a specifically engineered biochemical agent that they're then stockpiling in this huge room like you would an agent. But then that doesn't make sense with the whole altar thing. Why would you worship it in this room when it's really a weapon that you're storing to take out the human race? It kind of just seems like they did whatever they wanted. They'd wake up and say, what would be a cool scene? Well, how about we introduce it this way, and then later on we'll change it and turn into this other thing. But anyways, yeah, and then also apparently these canisters will sometimes just leak all over the place for no reason, which is probably bad. But that's how the mealworm turns into the alien mealworm, is they leak. And it kills one guy, doesn't pregnate him, just kills him. But then the other guy gets sprayed with acid and turns into a super zombie, even though it never shows him actually contact the black goop. But anyways, my second major problem, other than just, that stuff, it just felt like they just, I was expecting a unicorn to come flying out of the sky at any minute. It seemed like once that super zombie showed up, I'm just like, okay, I lose all ability. You know, I lost interest because I'm like, they're just going to do whatever random shit they feel like doing without any sort of reason behind it or any, you know, so why pay attention to the plot if shit doesn't make sense, you know. But anyways, so then, prior to the super alien creature being infected with the new alien thing, he is going to take off in the ship and head to Earth and destroy us all because they created us, they want to destroy us, they don't know why. So, just taking the girl's word for it as she's running across the alien landscape, the pilot of the Earth ship says, okay, I believe you, that sounds good. Let's kill my crew and wreck into this alien ship because you say it's headed to Earth to kill everyone. So they do that, and there's also an escape pod involved. So we've got multiple Earth fatalities, 2 Earth ships that crash in or intermingled with this alien wreckage, and yet any subsequent movies, you know, makes no mention of them finding Earth ships in this wreckage. Second of all, the alien, the super alien, actually gets out of the wreckage and chases the main chick down before he gets impregnated with the new weird alien and gets the chest burst. Whereas in the first Alien movie, they find him still in the captain's chair with his chest open. So that doesn't jive. I mean, they specifically went out of their way to recreate that scene of the super alien getting in the cockpit thing, you know, the iconic cockpit thing that they walk into, that same room. It's all recreated exactly like Alien. So you can't say, oh, well, it was never meant to tie. They've tried really hard, however unsuccessfully, to make this tie, which I assume was mandated by, you know, the film company. I hope Ridley Scott didn't actually want to do it this way. I'm imagining he wanted to do a separate movie, and they said, if you want money, you got to tie it into Alien somehow. And so he kind of forced it, which is my second complaint at the movie, is that tie-in is just forced, and it doesn't make sense, and it doesn't work, and it does a disservice to the Alien franchise, and it does a disservice to this movie. Should have been its own movie, all new characters, let Ridley do the movie he wants to do, not try and do some half-assed tie-in to Alien, because it just didn't work. You know, the whole I was hoping it wasn't going to happen, the chest burst thing, but I knew it was, and it did. And I cried a little. I cried a little. But then again, you know, I like the whole exploration of where do we come from, and God and kind of stuff it touches on. But it's just this other random stuff that just doesn't make sense, and it's just so forced, and nothing follows any rules. Like, why would this biochemical agent that this alien race made to kill us, why would it do so many crazy things in so many different applications? Why would it make a super squid sperm? Why would it do super aliens to us humans? And then why would it just kill them outright? And then why would mealworms turn into super worm creatures? Yeah, why didn't they just blow us up? Or just do a standard disease that they would have known would have killed us instead of this weird mutant thing? Why were they storing it so unprofessionally and so dangerously? And then also, there's this whole thing where these holograms randomly show up that were recorded during the last moments, I guess, of what happened there. And it shows these alien creatures running around in their suits. It doesn't make sense. Why would they just record these random snippets and then specifically somehow set it up to play? But but it concludes that they're running from something, but it never says what it is at all. It doesn't say what they're running from or why running would help them. It didn't help them. They died and they were all piled up except for one dude that was in cryo. You know, just tons of stuff that, like, what was that all about? That doesn't make sense. I mean, if it was a biological agent that has to be ingested, I mean, it wasn't airborne. What are they running from? And how did whatever they're running from get them? And what did it do to them? Sometimes, and then, so the beginning scene, it kind of just rots his whole body away. But in a later scene, they recover a head, somehow bring it back to life, a super alien human head. And it apparently was infected with something, and its brain explodes. Just randomly. You know, and once again, this goes back to them. Just seems like they sit around with coffee and say, what would be a cool scene? How about we have one of their heads explode? Okay, do it. Let's do it. You know, it doesn't tie in with how this stuff behaves in any other application. It behaves, like, differently every 10 seconds. So those are my problems. Overall, I thought it was a great movie, great atmosphere, great visuals, great concept. Just executed very poorly. Plot holes, things just thrown together. There's weird flashback scene at the beginning that didn't need to be there. It doesn't do it again, and it never strengthens that or ties into that again. It's just like this random thing, and you expect it to kind of expand on that or do it again, but it doesn't. It's just like one random flashback scene. And that's what the whole movie was kind of like. It was just like all this snippets of stuff kind of jammed in together without rhyme or reason. Alright guys, end of rant. Later.